Hi, my name is Dr. Christina Baker, and I'm the instructor at Cornell University. This course is Business Consumer Behavior. Let me go over our syllabus and our requirements, and then I'm going to go ahead and start us for our lecture. Every time we meet, you have a assignment to do. It is to do a summary of our discussion in class. This is a recording, so you're welcome to look at the recording. It should be published by the beginning of the first week, beginning of the week, and then you have the whole week to do the summary. If you find yourself falling behind because life does happen, it's okay. You can still get it done. As long as you get it done before the very last day of class. Once that point is, it's too late. I have to turn in grades. Whatever you haven't done becomes a 0. And it's a sad day when your score isn't what you want, but you do have to do everything in order to get 100%. This class is pretty much designed quite easy in the sense that if you do everything, you'll probably get 100% on every assignment, end up with an A. If you find yourself missing assignments, those become 0s and you won't have 100%. So keep that in mind. This recording is between 45 minutes to an hour and a half. And on top of the summary from the recording, you also have a summary in the chapters. Every week we have about 3 chapters to read, except for the last week, which is a reflection. You reflect on what you learned that term. And 1 week we have 4 chapters because they're kind of short. So you do have a summary to do on that as well. I'm going to go ahead and go over the syllabus with you. You should have seen the syllabus in your portal. The Google Meet, the Google Classroom login, if you type that into your Google email, it should take you there. All right. I'm going to take you to my Google and show you. Sorry, I didn't drink enough coffee today. All right, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. Okay, this is Cornell University, fall 2023. This code right here is TTKYUTA. Once you put this code in, you should be able to find it every day right here. If you go into this little dot section and you click on it, I don't know how it is organized with yours, but this is how mine's organized. And I just scroll down towards this classroom. I opened it up. If you have never had your classroom, right? When you go to Google Classroom, it looks like this, and it has all the other classes you may have taken on the Google in the past. We're doing this one, the Cornell University Fall, EM 420. This was what I taught last time. And then you click on the plus here, and it says create or join a class, and then you just put that code in. When you click here, there's no students have added yet. Okay. When you click here, you should be able to see the assignments all here. Syllabus is here. This is the text for the free ebook. We have for you to do 3 to 5 paragraphs from the chapter reading and like 1 paragraph from this video. Okay, classwork, you can see it here. So you can see it on the stream and then classwork. Sometimes it's best to go to where it says classwork. If you're on like week 10, there's thousands of things on the stream bar. Look at the syllabus. Okay. This class is Monday, but online. This is my email, drchristinabaker111@gmail.com. I have another one too that you may have gotten an email from, and that's unit@yahoo.com. My office hours are TBA, to be announced, and by appointment. Remember, the mission statement for your university is Cornell University is dedicated to equipping students with academic, professional, and spiritual resources so they'll express and represent Christ. That is to be God men who function effectively in careers, communities, and lives. Moving down. Our percentages are as follows. Active student participation and lecture would be about 20% of your grade. You have weekly homework, that's 20% of your grade. Then you have a midterm. There's one midterm, a week 8 of the semester, and I won't tell you, it's pretty long, but it's open book, open notes, and even open friends, but it's a lot of questions. It's worth 30% of your grade. Same thing with the final. There's no excuses unless maybe you have like a medical emergency or something and you have to go through the school. I've had students in the past that were hospitalized with COVID or had broken legs, stuff like that, and they were hospitalized or bedridden. Uh, Sometimes they give them extra time or, they still end up doing it, but somehow they have to get like a special desk to put in the bed with them. They're very ill and they can't get out of bed. So that's happened too with students. So just let the school know. This is Introduction to Consumer Behavior by Andrea Novotny. It's an open ed, open text, so it's free. You just go to the open text website here. I believe you can click on this blue part and it'll take you right there. Yep, it does. Okay, I just showed you. It takes you right there. If it's not working, maybe your computer has it blocked or something. This is online and other course resources. KU Library provides print materials, electronic materials. Students are required to search electronic materials at the EBSCO host and check out print materials from KU Library catalog for their work. We have the learn.net. That one's popular. That one's a great one to use. We also have ministrybooks.org and WHDL.org. Attendance and participation. Students are expected to come to class on time. A student who incurs excessive absences may be withdrawn from the class. In this class, it's online, so if you don't do the assignments, then there will be zeros. You gotta get an F. Late assignments, like I said, I know life happens. Sometimes if you have an excuse, I don't deduct points, but if you're excessively late, then yes, I could deduct points. Usually people have legit reasons why they didn't do it. Maybe you were sick, Lord knows. I've been sick a lot in my past as well and injured, so sometimes you're just not up to par to do your work. I understand that. I just got over a really bad ear infection. I do in-home healthcare, but I couldn't do in-home healthcare for the last couple weeks because of my ear and like I had a little head cold. Let's see. At the beginning of the year, I had broken ribs. I had 2 broken ribs on my left lung. And the year before that, I started the new year off with COVID. The year before that, I sprained my ankle for the second time. The year before that, I had COVID. So yes, I do understand that you do sometimes have life mishaps happen and it's scary. I've had times where I was frozen in, which means all the roads are frozen and you're not allowed to leave unless you're a medical professional or like a police officer or something. And you can't leave your house. So I've had that where I'm locked in. We all went through COVID where we had to not leave the house. So we are familiar with that. But do reach out and say, hey, I don't have Wi-Fi. I'm moving. It won't be set up for 2 weeks. I'm trying to get to Starbucks. I've been there too. I've been the professor at Starbucks rating because I didn't have Wi-Fi for 2 weeks one time when I moved. It happens. Life happens, but we just work through it and we just keep pressing on. Journey's not over. And plagiarism is a no-no. So you don't want to do plagiarism. It's defining somebody else's ideas, argument, original material without acknowledging the source. We have grading scale. Everybody should be aiming for that A because you want to be outstanding. Let's look right here. This is what we're doing this week 1. We have course introduction and overview, perceptions, key terms and concepts, sensory systems, perceptual process. Second one, we have learning theories. Positioning, chapter reflections. And we have key terms and concepts, behavioral learning, theories, cognitive learning and theories, memory and retrieval. Then week 4, we have memory failure and cognitive bias, chapter reflection, customer motivation and involvement, key terms and concepts. We have a week 5, needs, wants, and goals, motivational theories and models, involvement levels. Week 6, reflections, personality, lifestyle, and self terms, concepts, personality, and personality traits. The next one, the 7th week, is theories of personality, self and identity, lifestyle, and psychographics. Week 8, we have branding, chapter reflections, attitudes and change, key terms and concepts, midterm exam. Week 9, we have understanding attitudes, changing attitudes, chapter reflections, individual consumes decision making, key terms and concepts, customer decision making process. We have product disposal and disposal options. We have trends impacting individual consumer reflections. We have chapter reflections. We have key terms and concepts. We have influences and customer decision making. We have social influences. We have situational factors and influences. We have chapter reflection, culture and subculture. We have key terms and concepts. We have culture explained. We have gender and culture, subcultures, and chapter reflections. And then we have our final exam. Every week we go over these chapters. These are the topics, and on the other sidebar, you have the actual chapters. And remember, you're doing your summary from the chapters every week, as well as a summary of this video. So you have 2 assignments every week, except for the 8th week, you'll have 3 assignments because you have your midterm and both summaries. And then, of course, the last week, you'll only have your final. Let me show you the book. This is a free book. It's designed for students studying business and marketing with the undergraduate level, and it draws the fields of marketing, business communication, media studies, psychology, sociology, anthropology. The book invites readers to examine the international forces that shape the consumer decision making, such as perceptions, motivation, personality, and attitudes, as well as external ones such as social, situational influences, culture, and subcultures. The text centers on the lived experiences of today's consumers, specifically undergraduate students, and the author has also made efforts to decenter whiteness and dominant culture perspectives whenever possible, ensure broader and more accurate representation of diverse customers. And there you have it. It's called Introduction to Consumer Behavior. And here you can see, you can download it. Oh my goodness. We have right here all the chapters I was telling you about. The nice thing about the ebook is you can just click on it and it takes you right to that chapter. Chapter 1 has some key terms and concepts like absolute threshold and differential threshold, exposure, guerrilla marketing, hype, interpretation, Lyman, perception, perceptual defense, perceptual filters, perceptual mapping, perceptual process, perceptual system, perceptual vigilance, positioning, repositioning, salience, schemata. We have selective attention, selective distortion, selective exposure, selective retention, sensation, sensory adaptation, sensory marketing, sensory receptors, stimuli, precipitation, subliminal messaging, and Weber's law. We're looking at sorry, let me get some water. Sensory systems. The topic of sensation and perception are among the oldest and the most important in all psychology. People are equipped with senses such as sight, hearing, and taste that help to take in the world around us. Amazingly, our senses have ability to convert real-world information into electronic information that can be processed in the brain. The way we interpret this information is really important. You can see the perceptual system right here is wired for accuracy, and people are exceedingly good at making use of the wide variety of information available to them. sensory receptions. That's a good picture right here. It's letting you know like different colors and what they resemble, what the brands want them to know. We know that green, they say, is envious. And we've also heard that colors like orange and yellow and red make you hungry. That's why Jack in the Box is red and In-N-Out is red and yellow and McDonald's is yellow and red. And you have Burger King that's orange. You have all these colors that make you want to eat. Sensory receptions is smelling. And then we also have touching. Think about your different senses. We have the smell, we have the touch, we have the taste, we have the seeing, we have the hearing, we have in space the kinesthetic and tactical in space where everything's around us. And when we think about it, it's pretty cool because as a marketer, you're using all of these to get your audience engaged. That's why a lot of us love commercials that have music or storyline or beautiful colors. Before we go on to chapter 3, it's time for us to watch a little video. Okay, video time. This is how Apple and Nike have branded your brain. Your brain on the money. Your brain on the money. And the money on the brain.
Coke is just soda, Tylenol just acetaminophen, and Levi's are just jeans. Yet consumers go out of their way to select these specific brands over others.
An economist would say, how is this possible that a rational consumer would be willing to pay more for exactly the same thing? We love to think about ourselves as rational. That's not how it works. A very famous study done by colleagues at Duke University had flashed either the Apple logo or the IBM logo to 2 randomized groups of participants.
The study found that after being subliminally exposed to the Apple logo, compared to when you've been exposed to the IBM logo, participants performed better on creative tasks.
And the argument is that Apple has been telling you this story over and over again, that Apple is the brand for hip, cool, fun, creative people.
This is the true power of brands. They can influence our behavior in ways that extend way beyond the point of sale. So, to what degree can the influence of brands wreak havoc on our ability to make rational spending decisions? This is Your Brain on Money. This is Americus Reed. He studies identity and marketing at the University of Pennsylvania.
When I make choices about different brands, I'm choosing to create an identity. When I put that shirt on, when I put those shoes on, those jeans, that hat, someone is going to form an impression about what I'm about. So if I'm choosing Nike over Under Armour, I'm choosing a kind of different way to express affiliation with sport. The Nike thing is about performance. The Under Armour thing is about the underdog. I have to choose which of these different conceptual pathways is most consistent with where I am in my life.
And once a consumer makes that choice, their relationship with a brand can deepen to the point where they identify with the brand like family. And once you identify with a brand, it can shape the way you behave.
And it's really interesting because they will also, if someone talks bad about that product, brand, or service, they will be the first to go out and defend. Why? Because an attack on the brand is an attack on themselves.
Michael Platt is a professor of neuroscience, marketing, and psychology whose research demonstrates how our perception of brands influences our decisions.
There's an idea in marketing, which is that we relate to brands in the same way we relate to people. It's like, I love this brand, or I hate this brand. Of course, what people say, right, can often be different from what's really going on in their heads. So we thought, well, why don't we just ask the brain directly?
Michael and his team observed the brains of iPhone users and Samsung Galaxy users with an MRI machine while they heard good, bad, and neutral news about Apple and Samsung.
Apple customers showed a brain empathy response toward Apple that was exactly what you'd see in the way you would respond to somebody in your own family.
Strangely, Samsung users didn't have any positive or negative responses when good or bad news was released about their brand. The only evidence that Samsung users showed was reverse empathy for Apple news, meaning if the Apple headline was negative, their brain reflected a positive response.
You know, it really shows us that Apple has completely defined the market here. Samsung customers, it seems from their brain data, are only buying Samsung because they hate Apple.
The kicker? The Samsung users didn't report feeling the results their MRIs showed. What was happening in their brains and what they reported feeling towards Apple and Samsung were totally different.
Most people just don't realize that they are subconsciously choosing brands because those brands have some kind of self-expressive value.
You can see there's a lot of power here in terms of shaping consumers' decisions. As we learn more and more about that, we have to think much more deeply about the ethical, legal, and societal implications of doing that.
So as consumers, what can we do to make informed choices? Well, the best thing we can do is be aware of the influence that brands hold.
I think it's important to always pause and think a little bit about, okay, why am I buying this product?
And like it or not, brands aren't going anywhere.
I've heard lots of people push back and say that I'm not into brands. I take a very different view. They're not doing anything any different than what someone who affiliates with a brand is doing. They have a brand, it's just an anti-brand brand. When I think about what is it that I've learned about identity over time, I think a lot of it has to do with the fundamental need that we as humans have to have support systems. Perhaps it was the church, it was the community, it was these other institutions that existed. Now brands have stepped in as pillars of our identity. So I'm very much motivated to see that in that positive light.
That was really interesting, right?
About 100 years ago, companies in the Western world ran into a problem. Consumers had everything they needed, and so the companies came up with a great idea.
You just can't beat a Lucky Strike. Terrific new busy day dessert.
Persuade people that they need more things, even things they didn't really know they needed. And nowadays, companies are studying your brain to get you to keep buying more stuff. This is called neuromarketing, and neuromarketing is like marketing on steroids.
Companies know us better than we know ourselves.
The brand exists nowhere else but in the mind of the consumers.
We're going to tell you how companies are getting into your head. In the 1950s, a clever marketer shocked the world with an astonishing experiment. He flashed the messages, "Drink Coca-Cola" and "Eat popcorn" on a cinema screen too briefly for the audience to even notice. He claimed this had people rushing to the counters in droves to buy Coke and popcorn.
If this story sounds too good to be true, then that's because it is. Thankfully, we're not that easy to brainwash.
Turned out it was all BS. He made that up. There's no such thing as a brain's buy button.
This is Prince Guman, a marketing professional. He and neuroscientist Matt Johnson wrote a book on how companies tailor their marketing to our brains. So the good thing is, we are not mindless shopping zombies. But we do make a lot of our decisions subconsciously. And that's where neuromarketing comes in. Companies are trying to better understand how our brain works to figure out what we really want.
Traditional marketing studies work like this. Someone will ask me, do you want an apple or do you want a chocolate bar? And I'd say, I of course want the apple. But do I really want the apple?
So we feel as if we're in control. We feel as if we're the author of our decisions and we're thinking through these things very rationally. But study after study after study shows that we are extremely irrational and that we're, generally speaking, pretty unaware of the full range of factors which ultimately inform and sometimes actually decide the different behaviors and paths that we take.
In short, we don't always know what we want. We don't know if we actually want the apple or if we prefer the chocolate bar. But our brain doesn't lie.
And that's why neuromarketers have adopted a range of technologies in their marketing studies to see what's happening under the hood inside consumers' brains. Functional magnetic resonance imaging and electroencephalograms measure activity in the brain. Eye tracking shows where we direct our attention, and heart rate and skin conductance show what we find exciting.
For better or worse, people are complex and the brain is really complex.
Uma Karmakar is a scholar whose research revolves around how we make decisions.
What neuroscience does is it gives us access to some of these emotional elements or these elements that might not be fully conscious and tells us a little bit more about some of the things that might also be contributing to people's experiences and choices.
Take Cheetos, for example. When its parent company Frito-Lay asked consumers how they felt about the brand, many said, well, it's a bit of a kid's snack. But when they looked at their brains, it turned out people got a real kick out of getting their fingers messy with this orange dust that they're covered in. It is fun.
There was something subversive about that orange dust on your fingers. There was something a little unusual about it. And people kind of enjoyed it, even though it was not that respectable.
You know, other people are trying to do their laundry too.
Frito-Lay took these findings and built an entire ad campaign around this feeling of subversive pleasure.
Those are her whites in the dryer.
It became a huge success.
More and more businesses are investing in this type of research, most of which is happening in secret.
Through neuroscience, but also with the help of psychology and behavioral economics, they get a pretty good idea of what makes us tick. And they use this knowledge to get us to buy more of their stuff.
Now I'm going to give you 4 examples of this that you've probably seen in your everyday life.
1, they wear you down. Our brain operates in 2 different thinking modes. There's what's called System 1, which is fast, unconscious and automatic. And then there's System 2, which is deliberate and conscious, but takes a lot of effort.
If I ask you, what is your name? System 1 will immediately have an answer to that question. But if I ask you, what is 23 times 48, you're going to have to switch to System 2. This requires effort. Now imagine you're going grocery shopping.
You have to find your way around the different aisles and make loads of decisions in a short amount of time. When you finally get to the checkout counter, you're tired.
One way in which you can get somebody to be more System 1 oriented is actually through wearing them down. So System 2, very resource intensive, requires a lot of metabolic resources. When we're tired, when we're malnourished, we're much more likely to go with a much more impulsive System 1 response.
And that's why right at the end of your shopping trip, retailers tempt you with loads and loads of sugary snacks that you might just pick up at the very last moment. And Shopping malls exploit the same situation. They're confusing, they're overwhelming, they're quite frankly exhausting, so you're more prone to spend money on something you might not even need. 2, they tell you what the right price is.
Let's say you walk into a store and you see a bottle of wine for, I don't know, let's say $15. Your brain doesn't really know if this is a lot or if this is not a lot, so it's immediately starting to look for some context.
Typically, people don't really have a sense of price. Like, they don't really know how much wine should cost or what's the right price of a wine.
This is Moran Cerf, a computer hacker turned neuroscientist and business professor.
The people create their kind of impressions of the price range, not by knowledge, by information, but rather by kind of sampling reality.
And the store will happily give your brain a reality to latch onto by placing a second bottle next to it costing $50. Now your brain thinks $15, that's actually a pretty good deal, so it's very likely you're going to buy this bottle.
Our brains are like ships. We're looking for places to anchor, right? And adding any sort of context or understanding of value, having an anchor helps.
3, they keep you on the treadmill.
Another quirk of our brain that brands are using is that it's constantly seeking pleasure. And the key word here is seeking.
Once you're experiencing a sort of thing that you wanted, you don't just get to bask in that pure pleasure for a long time. It's not the type of emotion which is enduring over time. And that's a very, very good thing for brands.
Because pleasure is so fleeting, brands keep sending us to what's called the hedonic treadmill.
The iPhone 6, the iPhone 6S, this is iPhone 7, iPhone 11, the iPhone 12.
Right, let's say you buy iPhone 8. It's a brand new physical design, and you're loving it. And just like clockwork, 12 months later, 8S comes out. Whatever pleasure you got from achieving and purchasing the iPhone is now immediately gone. And now you're looking to, again, jump on the hedonic treadmill and chase the next pleasure.
4, they hide little nudges in plain sight.
So you remember that cinema story from the beginning? Subliminal marketing messages like this, so things that we can't pick up on consciously, are actually illegal in most countries. But a few companies must have thought, well, why don't we just hide them in plain sight?
Check out this ad from KFC. See anything unusual? Well, look again. There's an actual dollar bill photoshopped into the burger, which happens to cost $1. And check out this can. Coca-Cola made it look like it's smiling to tie in with its brand image of happiness. And in literally every ad for watches, the time is set to 10:10, because that makes it look like the watch is smiling at you. These types of subtle hints are called primers.
So I would say right now, controversial, but the priming works. That said, we still teach that in school, in business school, as kind of a mechanism people should be aware of, because it's easy to implement. So if for the small chance that it does work, why not try it if you're trying to kind of sell something?
So if you see a 10-10 watch, you're not compelled by some physical force to go out and do everything you can to buy it. But if you're already feeling like buying a watch, or maybe you're already favorable towards the brand, that additional data point is going to push you maybe a little bit further.
And this is not limited to visual triggers. An experiment showed that if a wine store plays French music, customers buy more French wine. And if it plays German music, they buy more German wine.
A lot of this stuff is hiding in archives for companies, and it is in their best interest not to reveal it. But we would be silly to think that this isn't part of the experiential design that companies are creating to better engage with the consumers.
So, where does all this leave us? Are we ultimately just puppets without a will of our own, buying whatever corporations throw our way? Or do we have a choice?
Total mindless behavior is rare. Total control is also rare. And in between, there's a wide gray area, and we can move the needle between whether we make choices that are very informed and very kind of thorough, or very impulsive and not too thorough.
If you like something, that's going to be the most important determinant of whether or not you choose to spend money on it, or your time on it, or your resources in general on it. And that speaks a lot to the power that we have as consumers and individuals.
Now, neuromarketing is a very powerful tool. It gives companies access to something that even we don't have access to most of the time, our subconscious. But just knowing that and knowing how our brain works can already help us make better decisions. Have you ever come across any of the things we've shown you in the video? Let us know. What was that? Did you see that? Anyway, let us know in the comments and hit subscribe for more videos like this every Friday.
All right. All right, so sorry. The allergies. Perception is how you interpret the world around you and make sense of it in your brain. So we just watched a video about neuroscience and how it's affecting your decisions. So sometimes you associate positivity with a certain brand, or you just have always done it this way, or something triggers you. So you do. So Vita stimuli to affect your different senses. We have sight, hearing, touch, smell, and taste. How do you combine these senses also to make a difference? For example, in one study, consumers were blindfolded and asked to drink a new brand of clear beer. Most of them said the product tasted like regular beer. However, when blindfolded came off and they drank the beer, many described it as watery tasting. That consumers' visual perception alone can influence their overall attitude towards a brand. You have sensory stimuli and sensory receptions. Perceptual process, we have stimuli that passes through our perceptual filters. They are organized into their existing structures and patterns. We have marketers call a positioning strategy. Okay, so it's a brand's position. Guerrilla marketing, that's completely overtaken in passive advertisements and blindfolded of the past. When done so, sensory marketing transitions a brand from barely being noticed to earning a top position in the customer's mind. Exposure, selecting information we see or hear, like Instagram ads or YouTube videos, is called selective exposure. And customers are exposed to thousands of marketing images and messages on a daily basis. How can we actually pay attention on depends on our needs, our wants, and ability of marketing to stand out in a crowd. We have differential threshold. It's noticeable difference, also known as N or JND. It refers to the change in the stimuli, barely detected. And you have Weber's law. It maintains that JND of stimuli is a constant proportion of the original intensity of stimulus. That's why sometimes when you go to the movie theater and they have the commercials with the food, then all of a sudden you're hungry and you want to get a snack to watch during the movie. Attention is the next part of the perception process in which we focus our attention on certain incoming sensory information. Since we can't tune in each and every one of the thousands of messages and images we're exposed to daily, we tend to only pay attention to the information we perceive to meet the needs or interests. This type of selection and attention can help us meet critical needs and get things done. You have a scenario that points to a principle of salience, a situation in which we tend to pay attention to information that attracts attention in a particular context. We have selective retention. Often the information contradicts a person's belief. Perceptual defense is defined as tendency to distort or ignore information that's either personally threatening or culturally unacceptable. Perceptual vigilance, on the other hand, takes place when we, as consumers, find ourselves in a position where we pay more attention to advertisements that meet our critical needs and wants. Then we have the hype. Guerrilla marketing differs from hype. Subliminal perception is a topic that's cultivated the public for more than 50 years. So we have subliminal advertising. A survey of American consumers found that almost 2/3 believe of the existence of subliminal advertising. Interpretation is the third-party perception process where we assign meaning to our perceptions and mental structures. All right, so time for a PowerPoint. Let's see if you can see it. Okay, perfect. Consumer behavior. Consumer behavior is a study of when and why and how and where people do or do not buy a product. It basically depends on the psychology of a customer. It attempts to understand the buyer decision-making process both individually and in groups. It studies the individual consumers, such as demographics and behavior aspects, to understand the people's wants. And the study of consumer behavior, our main focus is customer satisfaction, because a customer is the only person with presence. Businesses actually exist. Types of consumer, we have ultimate consumer, buyer, customer, and institutional buyer. We have customer, according to the International Dictionary of Management, customer is a purchaser of goods and services for immediate use or consumption. Buyer, he is a person who purchased goods either for resale or for use in production or for the use of somebody else. Customer, he's the only one who purchases goods for his own use or the use of others, or else he's a regular customer of a particular product and he's a regular customer of a particular shop. We have institutional buyer. They're either government institutions or private organizations. It is a process to where a customer decide what to buy, when to buy it, or how to buy it, where to buy and how much to buy. It compromises the both mental and physical activities. A consumer behavior is very complex and dynamic, which keeps on changing constantly. Individual buying behavior is affected by various international factors like needs, wants, attitudes, and motives, and also by external factors like social groups, culture, status, environment, and factors. Important and need to study of consumer behavior. Constant change in consumers' tastes or preferences. Customer behavior study is necessary to make pricing policies and to avoid future market failures. There's different types of consumer behavior. We have complex, dissonance reducing, variety seeking, and habitual. Buying motives. According to the DJ Duncan, buying motives are influences or considerations which provide the impulse to buy, induce action, or determine choice in the purchase of goods and services. Okay, sorry, commercial. Okay. We have product and patronage motives. Primary, secondary, patronage motives. Price, quality, location, services, variety, personality of the owner. We have emotional motives, love of others, vanity motive, recreational motive, emulant motive, comfort and convenience motive, rational motives, monetary gain, efficiency in operation, dependability. Inherent motives are those that come from the psychological and basic needs, such as hunger, thirst, sleep, etc. If these motives are not satisfied when a customer feels dissatisfied and feels mental tension, we have learned motives, or those learned are acquired by a person or environment, and education like social status, acceptance, fear, security, etc. We have psychological motives, those are driven by learning, perception, or attitude. Social buying motives are those which are influenced by society, which consumers live. Customer decisions, theory and reality in customer buying. Problem recognition, recognition of unsatisfied need. We have the evaluation of alternatives. We have the post-purchase evaluation behaviors, and we have the purchase and identification of alternative information search. Psychological needs, consumer needs, and motivation, Maslow's need of hierarchy theory. Perception, learning, beliefs, and attitudes, cultural factors, subculture, subculture, social class, social factors, reference group, role and status, family, personal factors, age, stages in life cycle, occupation and economic status, lifestyle, and personality. Economic factors, personal income, family income, income expectations, savings, liquidity position, consumer credit, environmental factors, political situation, legal forces, technological advancement, and ethical considerations. Market segmentation. Segmentation is essentially an identification of the subsets of buyers within a market that share a similar needs and demonstrate similar buyer behavior. The world is made up of 1 billion buyers with their own set of needs and behavior. Segmentation made to match the different group of buyers with different set of needs and buyer behavior. Such a group is known as a segment. A customer is allocated to one market segment by the customer's individual characteristics. Examples of characteristics are used in segmentation. We have gender, we have price, we have interest, location, religion, income, size of household. We have established overall strategy. The original must be clearly state its segmentation strategy and consistent with the mission and objectives, as well as current situation, the strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. Decide the basis for segmentation. Any marketer should do a segmentation on the basis of different factors that are demographic or psychographic, and you should have an idea of the market characteristics of consumer and buying behavior. After selecting basis of segmentation, segmentation variables like demographic, age, income, occupation, etc. should be taken into consideration. We have profile of segments. After segmenting the market, marketers can analyze the customers in segments, like what type of customers are in the market, evaluate segment attractiveness, evaluate each done on the basis of estimating the profit, contribution by each sector. Most importantly, he'll see the demand potential for customers from the segment and revenue earned out of the segment and expenditures occurred. Other criteria are measurability, accessibility, responsiveness, risk, etc. Every marketer consider only one segment at a time, even if the other segments are profitable. Ultimately, he will select the most profitable segment. This is called a target market. To understand the needs, wants, and desires and buying habits of customers, to formulate marketing programs for each consumer groups according to the nature, to develop new products according to the customer's changing needs, to expand market and market share, to provide satisfaction to consumers, to make the marketing strategies and policies consumer oriented. Product differentiation. It's a process of distinguishing a product or offering it from others to make it more attractive to a particular target market. It involves differentiating it from competitors' product as well as the firm's own product offering. Difference between market segmentation and profit or product differentiation. Market segmentation is consumer oriented, focuses on a group of customers, attempt to match the supply with demand, aims at increasing the sales, concentrates on limited market. Product differentiation, production oriented, focus on product differences, attempt to match demand with supply, aims at facing intense company, and concentrate on large market. It helps win the competition. We have sustainability. The segment must be large enough to warrant a special mix. We have identifiability and measurability. Segments must be identifiable and their size measurable. Accessibility. Members or targeted segments must be reachable with marketing mix. Responsiveness. Unless markets response to marketing mix differently, no accurate treatment is needed. Homogeneity. The customers in one particular segment should be similar in terms of their responses. Profitability, there should be significant demand for goods in the segment selected. Advantages of firms: to increase the sales volume, to prepare effective marketing plans, to enable makes decisions, help to understand the needs of consumers, help to win competition, makes the best use of resources, achieves marketing goals, specialized marketing, creates innovations, and higher market share. We have advantages to consumers: customer-oriented, quality products at reasonable prices, other benefits, discounts, buy one, get one free offer, and customers become the winner. Commercially in. We have reasons for development of market segmentation, rapid change in technology, adoption of cost-reducing techniques, implementation of marketing programs and marketing mix, introduction of new products, cutthroat competition in the market. In differentiated marketing, only one mix is used for customers like soft drinks. We looked at that in the video. Differentiated marketing in the segment, different marketing mix is used for each different segment. Customer products. And then we have here concentrated marketing. In this, the marketing mix are concentrated and applied for each segment. Customize or personal marketing. When a marketer sees each customer as a separate segment and apply marketing strategy as per requirements of the customer. Interior design, civil engineering firms design roads at the requirement of customers. We have levels of market segmentation: segment marketing, niche marketing, local marketing, individual marketing. Segment marketing consists of a group of customers who share similar sets of needs and wants, can offer better price design, and can fine-tune marketing activities. Examples: Air Decane. Niche marketing, more narrowly defined, consumer good, seeking a distinctive mix of benefits, like customers make clothes for oversized customers. Local marketing could be tailored to the needs and wants of the local customers in trading areas, neighborhoods, and even individual stores. For example, matrimonial websites like Bharat Matrimony are further offering other websites like Every Community Se Bajai, Bendi, Muslim, Sikh, etc. Individual marketing, designing the product and service offerings of individual choices. For Asian paints, you may mix desired colors and quantities of your own choice per requirement. Here's some advice of the market segmentation: demographic variables, geographic variables, psychographic variables, and behavioral variables. Geographic segmentation. In this type of segmentation, market is divided into different geographical units, like regions, by country, nation, state, neighborhood, population density. We have urban, suburban, and rural. City size, size of area, population size, and growth rate. Climate, regions having similar climate pattern. A company either serving a few of all geographic segmentations needs to put attention on variability of geographic needs and wants. After segmentating customer market on geographic basis, companies localize their marketing efforts like products, advertising, promotion, and sales efforts. Demographic segmentation. Market is divided into small segments used in demographic variables like age, gender, income, occupation, education, family size, family life cycle, religion. Demographic factors are important factors for segmenting the customers' groups. Customer needs, wants, usage rates all depend on the demographic variables. So considering demographic factors while defining marketing strategy is crucial. In this type of segmentation, segments are defined as the basis of social class, lifestyle, and personality characteristics. Psychographic variables include interest, opinions, personality, self-image, activities, values, attitudes, and segment having demographically grouped customers may have different psychographic characteristics. In this segmentation, market is divided into segments based on customer knowledge, attitude, and user response to product behavior. Variables include product segmentation, product benefit segmentation, brand loyalty segmentation, occasion segmentation like holidays like Mother's Day, New Year's Eve, and EID. We have other status, first time, regular, or potential. Behavioral segmentation considers most favorable segmentation tool as those variables closely related to the product itself. High cost production, high advertising promotional costs, high working capital and storage expenses required, high administration expenses, difficult to choose variable segments, and difficulty in getting skilled and experienced workers. Target marketing. A target market is a group of customers to whom the entire marketing efforts are directed. In target marketing, marketers identified some parts of the market, selected one or more of them, and developed suitable products and other elements like price, place, promotion for each target market selected. Mercedes target high customer status, whereas Hyundai target sensitive customers. Approaches for selecting target market. A total market approach in the company develops a single marketing mix and direct the entire market for a particular product. Concentration approach. In this organization, approach a single marketing segment through a single market mix. Total market consists of segments, but will select only one segment as a target market. Multi-segment approach in this organization targets two or more segments in developing marketing mix for each segment, like Toyota. Advantages for target marketing. It enables the firm to tap marketing opportunities better. Firm can offer suitable product for each target market, thus they can serve better, and they can develop local customers. It's expand the market share, possible to build the company image on the market and suitable for the case. Customers will position the product in their minds because they find some unique features in the product to compare their products. The act of creating an image about the product in the minds of customers is known as product positioning. Close-up has looked upon the customers as a mouth freshener, a clean or teeth cleaner, and Predonis is looked at a germ killer in the customer's mind. Oh no, we got commercial again. Steps in product positioning: identifying potential competitive advantages, identifying competitors' positions, choosing the right competitive advantage, and they may be terms like technology, quality, cost, etc. commuting in a competitive advantage, monitoring position strategy. And our last but not least page, techniques for product positioning. Positioning by corporate identity like Tata, Sony, Joy, etc. Positioning by brand endorsement. Positioning by product attributes and benefits. Colgate positioned itself on the basis of bad breath, tooth decay. Positioning by use occasion and time. Detrol for nicks and cuts. Vicks for children at night. Positioning for price and quality. We have Nirna detergent powder. Positioning category for ED and Ups earlier was positioned as a fresh, clean paste and now has been positioned as a soft drink. Positioning by product user, Fairx, and positioning by competitor. All right, so that concludes today. We've been working for almost an hour. So make sure you do those summaries. Remember to do the summary on this video and also on the 3 chapters that I briefly went over with you. All right, have a blessed week, and I will see you next time. Look for another video. Bye.